We're joined by Troy basketball coach Scott Cross. I've known Scott since back in Scott, it's a long time ago. I hate to say this, it's like 30 years ago. You were playing at Tyler, then you went on to UTA. Of course, you coached there for a long time, and you have Troy in the tournament for the first time in nearly a decade. What is it like right now on campus and just the accomplishment of getting in after such a competitive Sun Belt conference throughout the regular season?
Yeah, it's been a great week. That's the one good thing about the Sun Belt is we play our conference tournament early. And so we had won the championship last Monday. So we gave the guys off the next 2 days, let them kind of enjoy it, let their bodies kind of recover since we had played 3 games in 3 days. And then we got back to work on last Thursday. We went we had 2 regular practices. We just didn't go and do anything contact. We lifted weights and watched a little bit of film from each of our previous 3 games that we had played. Saturday, we did more regular practice. Then Sunday, we were off. Got to enjoy Selection Sunday. That was quite an experience. We went to Baumhauer's, which is kind of like Alabama's version of Buffalo Wild Wings. Got to see our name called, and that was a special moment there to be able to celebrate that with the Troy Trojan fans. Pretty amazing, surreal experience there. And then, we've had 2 great practices yesterday and today. We've been all business and trying to prepare ourselves to go in there and pull off the upset.
You have won 20-plus games now 4 consecutive years, 20, and you were knocking on the door, and then this year you knocked the door down 23-10. Did the competitiveness of the Sun Belt with James Madison, Arkansas State, and others, did that help you in the tournament? Obviously, you knew them and you beat them, Arkansas State and James Madison, but how much did that help, and how much will that help you starting in the tournament, even though you're playing a blue blood name like Kentucky?
Well, I think the top 5 or 6 teams could have definitely won the Sun Belt tournament. It's a little harder for the 5th or 6th seed the way the bracket is set up, and the top 4 teams did advance to the semifinals. And ton of respect for the Sun Belt Conference. I mean, it's so evenly matched. Even team that was at the bottom of the league, Monroe, beat South Alabama twice. Otherwise, South is conference champions by themselves and not sharing it with 3 other teams. And so from top to bottom, very, very evenly matched. I think Arkansas State has a lot of similarities, and James Madison has some similarities to Kentucky. Obviously, it's hard to replicate the size that they'll have, having 7-footers, 6'11". But, some of these guys we've already played against. We played Dayton last year with Kobe Bryant was on that team. We played San Diego State that had Lamont Butler. So we know these guys a little bit, but we've watched them on video. We know how good they can score the basketball and how talented. It's not going to be an easy task, but I think a team like Troy is a team that can go in there and upset somebody because we're tough. We offensive rebound at 5th in the nation. Actually, we're 5th in the nation in offensive rebound, and I believe we're top 15 in steals. We're top 30 or 40 in defensive field goal percentage. So we have a lot of things going our way. Again, we know we're playing a blue blood. We know we're playing one of the most talented teams, but I don't see any reason why, if our guys go out there and play at the highest level, why we can't win this basketball game.
You also played Houston. We know how great they are. You played Oregon. You played Arkansas. Now, they won, but all of them are tournament teams in non-conference. How much did that help you prepare for the rest of the year? Yes, it's also games where you get checks, etc., but those are 3 really good teams to play, and how much does that help, or does it help 3 months later?
It definitely helps, and we're not even the same team that we were back then. We're still trying to figure out our identity and roles, and the Houston game, to me, they're the best defensive team in the country. There may be 2 or 3 similar, close to level, St. John's and, maybe Auburn and, 1 or 2 more. But I've always felt like Houston was the best defensive team and the best rebounding team in the country. So we're not going to face anything as tough as them and as hard to score on as them. And we've played the best of the best there. Arkansas, we led at halftime. We weren't able to hold on. Big Z got going in the Second half, you have a 7-foot-plus guy that I don't know how many threes he hit, but he hit, quite a few against us. If he misses those threes, who knows? We might have been able to win that game. And then Oregon, I would say, similar in a lot of ways to Kentucky in terms of their ability to score the basketball and pass it. They're a high level executing offensive team. And so, we've played teams very, very similar level to Kentucky. Again, we didn't get the result we wanted in any of those games, but I would say that in all three of those games, their staffs were very concerned, going into it, and we're a better team than we were at that point in this game.
How much did Roy Thomas, who may be one of my favorite people ever, and really, after that, Fred Reich, Kyle Keller, Chris Crutchfield, when I was broadcasting the games, but Roy recruited you to Tyler, and I don't know if there's anyone like Roy Thomas. To me, is Kelvin Sampson back in the day. That's the way he played. He held people accountable. He was intimidating. How much did he impact you as a player and also then eventually as a coach?
Well, he did recruit me, and so I was at UTSA, was a redshirt there. They didn't have a good year. They needed to sign some junior college guys, and so I kind of saw the handwriting on the wall. Coach Sampson, who was an assistant there, not Kelvin Sampson, another Jim Sampson.
Right.
He knew Coach Thomas and got me a tryout. So I came down to Wagstaff Arena, played pickup with the guys. He watched. He thought I was good enough to give me a quarter of a scholarship, I believe, at the time. And then Coach Reich actually took over, so I never ended up playing for Coach Thomas. It was Coach Reich, and then Kyle Keller was the assistant, and they were awesome to play for. And actually, Coach Reich ended up putting me on full scholarship at the end of the fall semester, which was an exciting time for me to, just even though it wasn't a ton, just to be able to say that you were on full scholarship was, something you dreamed about. And then those two guys have been mentors for me and helped me out in so many different ways. Kyle has helped me recruiting. I mean, from day one, way back in 1998, 99, when I was recruiting as an assistant coach, so many things. And if I wouldn't have been able to pick his brain on some of the creative things he did in recruiting, I wouldn't be here today. And then Coach Reich was awesome to play for. And, I have a ton of respect for him as a coach. And then, he's an even better person than he is coach. And just those two guys have been awesome, and I'm so thankful that I had the opportunity to play for both of them.
Scott, you guys have a busy week. Obviously, that everything's condensed. You're going to play. You play Kentucky. It's what the tournament, to me, is all about. But you have 20 teams. 20 of the at-large teams are from the Big Ten and the SEC. The Big 12 has 6, and that's a great conference, too, and they probably could have had 7. And then, of course, the ACC down, but they have their at-large teams, which is almost like close to 30 of the at-large berths are going to the major conferences. But to me, March Madness, no matter who in the end wins it, is what it's about with the Sun Belt Conference or the Atlantic 10 or all these other conferences. Are we getting away from that? And if they expand it, which they're talking about, is that just going to bring more of the power conferences into the mix for at-large? And maybe if you don't win your tournament, you don't get in.
Yeah, I don't have the answers to that, but I would say you're definitely putting the cookie crumbs together and reading it correctly. I would say it's going to be, more of the power conferences getting at-large berths. I hope it never changes to where every conference gets an automatic qualifier. I do think that's what makes March Madness, and having a matchup like Troy versus Kentucky. I mean, and I'm a mid-major guy, but every year that's what I live for, those first 2 days, like watching it. We'll have 4. If we weren't playing in it, we would have had 4 TVs in our home. We would have grabbed every TV that we own and we would have put it in the living room and set them up so we could watch all 4 games at once. And it's almost, I would say, for the boys, it's Christmas, and then it's the first 2 days of the NCAA tournament. And so, I'm thankful that our guys on our team get to experience what it's like and get to be a part of it. thankful that the Troy fans and thankful that the good Lord blessed us and we had this opportunity. And, we don't want it to be one shining moment. We want it to be 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, 6 shining moments. And, I love our basketball team and think we're definitely one of those mid-majors that can do something magical here in March.
All right. You were at UT Arlington. You had a great run there. And then the story is, of course, they wanted to move on. Do you feel like you have just validated whatever you were and who you were at UT Arlington by what's happening at Troy?
Yeah, I mean, when it happened, I put my faith in the good Lord. I knew He had a plan for me. I'm thankful that I had a couple more years on my contract. It probably wouldn't have been as easy of a transition if, you don't know where your next meal is coming from. And, unfortunately, some of my staff, that was the position they were in. So that was obviously very, very tough.
Yeah.
But, I felt like we had done, great things there. It didn't work out. It wasn't meant to be. It does take some time. I am in a place where I'm completely over it and, thankful that we were able to do it and, just win with the program that we have here. And the people here are so awesome. We absolutely love the people here in Troy. I have an amazing staff that works their butt off. And, you just want to experience it. When we set out June 1st, you want to win a conference championship. You want to go to the NCAA tournament. Those are the 2 number 1 goals every single year that you set out. It's been 17 years since I've been a part of it. And, to have the opportunity to go back, we don't take it for granted. And, we're going to enjoy it. But at the same time, we're treating this game just like we did every game in the Sun Belt tournament and every game that we did all year long. And, we're going to go out there and try and present the best version of ourselves. And, hopefully the better team will win.
Last thing, and again, Kentucky and Troy will open up the tournament in the first round. Scott Cross was it. Played at UT Arlington, assistant there, longtime head coach there. I knew him when he was at Tyler Junior College, and they're having a great run. So you do all these nice things, and you're in, and you had time to, like you said, decompress and marinate the success and just enjoy the last few days. But now, when I hear about Scott Frost, the Troy basketball coach, it's about Waffle House. So
Yeah.
that's taken off and kind of gone viral. Tell everybody why you recruit players if they like the Waffle House.
Sure. So, it started my very first, when I was first hired, like right away, we brought in 2 kids, like the very next week that I was hired here. And we're driving down the road and ask them what, if they wanted to go to Waffle House for breakfast, and they turned up their nose. And it was like, I was like, what? Like, I couldn't even believe it. Like, it was hard to believe. And, of course, we did everything we could to recruit them as hard as we could. Long story short, we did not sign either one of them. And then our next recruit was Nick Stampley, who played at Eastern Florida. Can honestly remember the very first clip I saw of him. His coach, Jeremy Schulman, sent it to me. And he knew the type of players, because I had recruited a guy that we didn't get maybe 5 or 6 years earlier, and he knew what I was looking for. So he sends me this clip of this ball rolling in the national NCAA tournament, rolling on the floor at midcourt, and Nick Stampley's diving for it like Dennis Rodman. It was one of those type clips.
Wow.
And then, I was like, oh, okay, you got my attention. And then I started watching it. We offered him a scholarship. So we bring him up, and we're going down the same road. We didn't mention it because we knew how much of a turnoff apparently it was to the previous 2 recruits that we didn't get. But he sees it and he lights up. He's like, oh, yes, y'all got a Waffle House here. Are we going there tomorrow? We're like, absolutely. And long story short, he signs. He was a part of our team for the first 3 years, was a big part of changing the culture, in terms of, not that the culture was bad or anything, but it's a different culture, that we bring here. And we have to recruit to the type of guys that make us successful. And it's, hungry, tough guys that are, blue collar and willing to do the little things and take the stairs. And Nick embodied all of that. And, we signed him, and, the rest of his teammates, similar deal. It was a long story. He had to endure the 9-win season, the 11-win season, but he was able to be a part of that 20-win season. And, helped get this program, turned around, and now we're kind of reaping the benefits of it. I'm thankful for every one of those guys over the last 6 years that have stuck it out and finished their careers here because they've been a part of it. And we wouldn't be here today without those guys. But yeah, everyone on our roster love Waffle House. I was just talking to the local reporters, and for every birthday that we have, we always celebrate their birthdays. And so this year we've taken them to Waffle House, and most of the birthdays last year we did as well. And Ms. Jennifer and Ms. Mary there, the GMs, they decorate every time we come in there, and it's amazing. Like, they'll put up streamers and happy birthday and balloons and get a cake, and we'll sing happy birthday. And so on my birthday this year, I turned 50, unfortunately, so that may make you feel really old, since you knew me when I was a player at TJC.
My goodness. Yeah.
But, so my birthday was December 3rd. Well, my boys had a game, so we just went to eat wherever their game was. And then the next day, I'm in the office working on, watching film of the opposing team. And my wife was like, "Hey, I don't feel like cooking. You want to just meet us at Waffle House?" I was like, "Sure, that sounds like a plan."
That's awesome.
So 30 minutes later, she texts me. She's like, "Kind of need you to be over here like right now to Waffle House." And I was like, "What's the rush?" She's like, "Well, your whole team's waiting over here to surprise you for your birthday, and you're not supposed to know, but I have to tell you, otherwise you're not going to be over here, and they're just waiting on you." And so I rushed over there and acted like I didn't know, but they had a surprise party and streamers and sung happy birthday, and it was awesome. I wouldn't want to celebrate my 50th birthday any other place. And Ms. Breezy, there's a little video that they took. She's in there clapping. She's one of the workers there. And yeah, we love them, all the people there. But our guys, I mean, I bet they go there at least once a week on their own, each of our guys. And so they embody what I'm about, what our program's about. You have to be tough, blue collar. If you're bougie, it ain't working here at Troy, and our guys are not bougie at all.
Hey, man, Scott, I appreciate it. Had the crew cut, that low cut, and you were tough, you were smart, you were accountable, you were a great teammate, a hell of a player, and I'm proud of what you've done both at UT Arlington and also now at Troy. Chris Crutchfield, and Crutch, he's been around.
I know. Yes.
And Kyle's going to land in a great spot soon. I can't wait for him to get back in the business too.
Oh, he's the best of the best, and he wins wherever he goes. He just had a tough year this year. It's unfortunate, but he's one of the very, very best coaches I've ever faced. And, yeah, I'm happy for Coach Crutch. It looks like his trash can thing's taken off. I saw that on Selection Sunday, which is pretty awesome. So, yeah, appreciate you having me on the show.
That's Scott Cross, Troy basketball coach. They open up with Kentucky on Friday evening on CBS, and this is 365 Sports.